Private information of Nigerians sold online as data breach continues. ASU ABU chapter stage protest on persistent issues plaguing Nigerian universities. U.S. lawmakers demand immediate release of Binance Gambarian as federal government react. On the international scene, Tunisian president sacks minister after the death of dozens of Hajj pilgrims. A very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Just 3 months after FIJ exposed Express Verify, a private website selling Nigerian identification data, another private website, AnyVerify, has been found trading sensitive citizen data, including bank verification numbers. Paradigm Initiative, an ICT for Development and Digital Rights group, announced on Thursday that it is seeking legal redress on behalf of Nigerians for this breach of data privacy rights. Vintage Legal, PIN's legal partners, have served pre-action notices to multiple government agencies, including the National Identity Management Commission, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the Federal Road Safety Corps, and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, the AGF. Following FIJ's expose in March, NIMC clarified that Express Verify was not one of its licensed partners. Similarly, AnyVerify is not listed as a licensed partner on NIMC's website. FIJ's attempted to contact NDPC and NIMC on Friday, but phone calls went unanswered. Text messages and emails sent to these agencies had not received responses at the time of reporting as well. NIMC has yet to publish a list of its licensed partners, a request FIJ has formally submitted. And the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to sign and implement the renegotiated 2009 ASU federal government agreement in line with the collective bargaining principles as enshrined in the International Labour Organization Convention. The coordinator of the Lagos zone of the union, Professor Adelaja Udukoya, made the appeal on Friday while addressing the press at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Ogun State. ASU said that should the president heed to the appeal and act accordingly, it would save the nation's public universities from imminent collapse. The union added that it would also ensure that the lecturers are not forced into another round of avoidable industrial action, courtesy of the current conditions of service. Professor Udukoya said the union was seeking an interface with the president on how to resolve all issues plaguing the public universities in Nigeria. He urged the Tinubu-led federal government to, without further delay, set in motion machinery for the quick signing and implementation of the agreement to avoid another round of industrial crises in the nation's public universities. Also, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has staged a peaceful protest on the failure of federal government to resolve persistent issues plaguing Nigerian public universities. Members of the union who started the protest from ASU Secretariat went round the institution and terminated at the Senate building of the university. Reports said that ASU members raised placards with different inscriptions, including "Release Fund for Revitalization of Public Universities Now." ASU ABU say no to underfunding of public universities. TED Fund should complement, not replace, adequate and regular budgetary allocation. Speaking after the protest walk, Comrade Haruna Muhammad Jibril, ASU ABU chairman, accused the government of insecurity and neglect, worsening the living and working conditions of academic staff. He reiterated the union demands to include the renegotiation of the 2009 FGN ASU agreement, funding for public university revitalization, and payment of outstanding entitlements.
Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
negotiation of agreement between the federal government and ASU has been a long-standing issue. The last negotiated agreement was in 2009. In 2017, the Buhari-led administration established a committee for the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement, as contained in that agreement and, of course, previous agreements also. He appointed Wale Babalakin as the chairman of the committee. After nearly 3 unproductive years, Babalakin was replaced by Professor Munzali Jibril, who completed and submitted a draft agreement within 3 months. However, the government refused to sign the document, and consequently, Professor Jibril was succeeded by the late Professor Nimi Briggs. Under his leadership, a new draft agreement was prepared for signing.
The Ogun State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association has threatened to embark on industrial action within the next 1 week over alleged poor working conditions. Speaking at a press conference held at Doctor's House, Nukosi, Abeokuta on Friday, the chairman of the association, Azim Kunle Ashimi, revealed that the 21-day ultimatum given on June 7, 2024 will expire next week, Thursday, June 27, 2024. He said unless the state government takes immediate action to address their concerns, members would embark on industrial action. Ashimi highlighted that despite ongoing discussions with relevant government officials, there have been only verbal assurances without any official commitment. He urged the citizens of Ogun State to pressure the government into taking necessary steps to prevent the looming strike, which could disrupt healthcare services across the state. He noted that hospitals like Babcock University Teaching Hospital have seen their monthly electricity bills surge from between 80 to 100 million to 300 million naira. He called for concessions to be given to health institutions to prevent these increased costs from being passed onto patients, potentially making healthcare inaccessible for many. And the United States lawmakers French Hill and Chrissy Houlihan have called for the release of Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan, who is currently detained in Nigeria on charges of tax evasion and other financial crimes. The lawmaker appeal followed a Wednesday's visit to Gambaryan at Kuje prison, where they were alarmed by his deteriorating health and the conditions of his detention. Gambaryan, suffering from malaria and double pneumonia, has reportedly lost significant weight and is being denied adequate medical attention. The legislators emphasized the urgency of their request, describing the prison conditions as horrible. The plea aligned with calls from Gambaryan's wife, UK Gambaryan, who has been advocating for his release. She also urged the U.S. government to increase its efforts to secure her husband's release, noting that American tax dollars support Nigeria annually. The EFCC continues its prosecution of Gambaryan despite mounting pressure from U.S. lawmakers and advocates. And reacting, the federal government has debunked claims by United States lawmakers that Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan has no access to quality medical care at Kuje prison and that his health is deteriorating. Gambaryan, who is facing charges of tax evasion and other financial crimes in Nigeria, is currently detained in Kuje prison. In a statement on Friday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, described the claims as false and baseless. According to Idris, Gambaryan's detention is lawful under court orders. He maintained that Gambaryan has access to quality medical care whenever required and also full access to consular services from his home government. And away from that, the troops of the Nigerian Army in Borno State have rescued 7 women and 9 children snatched from their homes by terrorists. The victims were rescued in a series of coordinated counter-terrorism operations conducted by troops in collaboration with the Vigilante and Hybrid Force. In a statement posted on X on Friday, the Army said 1 terrorist was killed and arms and ammunition were recovered during the operation. Also, the Army said troops ambushed terrorists in the Komala area of Borno State, adding that 1 terrorist was killed during the ambush and several weapons were recovered. The Army noted that in a separate operation in Benue State, troops, in response to intelligence reports about terrorist movement in Ayati village, Ogun local government area launched a swift operation to stop the nefarious activities of the terrorists. The army also stated that troops halted the payment of ransom to kidnappers in Kogi State. It added that its troops, in collaboration with hunters, engaged the kidnappers in a gun drill and killed one of them. And residents have continued to protest following revelations by the Kaduna State House of Assembly Ad Hoc Committee investigating the immediate past administration, which revealed that over 430 billion naira was embezzled. In the latest report, the Kaduna Citizens Watch for Good Governance, led by Victor Dunia, on Thursday said former Governor Nasir El-Rufai must be prosecuted due to the weight of allegations of corruption leveled against him. The aggrieved protesters stormed the government house in their numbers, chanting solidarity songs and urging Governor Obasani to mandate the EFCC and other agencies to prosecute El-Rufai over the indictment of his administration by the State Assembly. Trust TV's Bello Musa was there and sent in this report.
The protest began at the UTC junction to the Sarkashim Ibrahim Hospital. The protesters condemned the alleged financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and the debt burden incurred by the El-Rufai's administration. They are therefore demanding the return of the monies allegedly mismanaged by the past administration to the state.
We call on Governor Obasani to implement relevant section of the report that fall under his purview. 6, we call on Governor Obasani to officially forward the findings of the committee to relevant anti-corruption agencies to enable them to swing into action and recover our resources at their disposal.
The group also alleged that El-Rufai is trying to bring down the administration of Governor Obasani.
We call on security agencies to immediately arrest and prosecute former Governor Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and those he has incited to bring down the government of Senator Obasani.
This is the second protest against former Governor Nasir El-Rufai since the revelation by the House Committee investigating the immediate past administration. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And 2 persons were reportedly killed by unidentified suspected bandits in Taraba State. The incident happened in the early hours of Wednesday in Chinkai village of Wukari Local Government Council. The attack, said to have been launched by suspected herders, came a day after a point-of-sale girl was stabbed to death by an armed robber in Wukari. Confirming the incident, the Local Government Council Chairman Ismaila Dauda said 2 casualties were recorded. Also reacting to the incident, the village head of the attacked community, Ezekiel Musa, said the attackers arrived at the village on Wednesday night and succeeded in killing 2 members of the community. The acting police public relations officer, Gambo Kwache, who made the confirmation on Friday, said relevant security measures have been put in place to prevent further attacks in the community and the state at large. We now circle back to the lead story on the bulletin, talking about data breaches, where just 3 months after FIG exposed Express Verify, a private website selling Nigerian identification data, another private website, Any Verify, has been found trading sensitive citizen data, including bank verification numbers. Paradigm Initiative, an ICT for Development and Digital Rights group, announced on Thursday that it is seeking legal redress on behalf of Nigerians for this breach of data privacy rights. Vindish Legal, Pins Legal Partners have served pre-action notices to multiple government agencies, the National Identity Management Commission, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, the Nigeria Immigration Service, the Federal Road Safety Corps, and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. And following FIJ's expose in March, NIMC clarified that Express Verify was not one of its licensed partners. Similarly, any verifier is not listed as licensed partner on NIMC's website. FIJs attempted to contact NDPC and NIMC on Friday, but phone calls went unanswered. Text messages and emails sent to these agencies had not received responses at the time of reporting as well. And now we have joining us in the studio to give insight is Professor of Digital Economics from the University of Abuja, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ifegu-Eke. Thank you for joining the News Hour. Prof, this obviously is not the first time of hearing issues about data breaches in Nigeria. So what's your first reaction to this development?
Thank you for having me. I'm shocked, the pain to discover that millions of Nigerians are not safe. So that's my first reaction. They're not safe.
Okay, then what does this say about our data security system in Nigeria?
All right. My shock stems from the fact that this is the second time in 3 months. I mean, it only exposes systemic failure. As far as I'm concerned, on one hand, I'm excited it's happening because in terms of consistency, I've mentioned it in this same studio, that, you see, when criminal elements decide to exploit new technologies that's supposed to make our lives easier, it only makes us wake up. It's a wake-up call. So right now, we have to look seriously into our data protection infrastructure. All the agencies that have been listed out to be brought in to book, to be questioned over this matter, yes, they are running to protect themselves, but I will call on the SSA and the SA in terms of digital economy to go outside that particular organogram, because you'll be bogged down, and begin to work with this private sector guys and get to the bottom of this matter. Let's begin to re-engineer data protection infrastructure. Thanks.
All right, then what sort of risk exposure are we looking at here potentially? I know right now we're looking at loss of data, but how severe can this get? Okay.
On two fronts. Let's go financially. Our BVN has been exposed. They can match. There are AI applications, algorithms that can help them match identity. I don't want to go further so that I don't give them oxygen. Be that as it may, they could have access to your account. You know what that means. Then on the other side has to do with identity theft to perpetrate crime. It's a serious thing, but it's a welcome development. Now we have to tighten our belt and look into data protection infrastructure. Yes.
So then what can the government do? Since these breaches have started happening, what lessons can the government and Nigerians learn from this experience?
Like I said earlier, I was very clear when I said the SSA, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Economy, and the Senior Assistant, they should look outside, not only with organogram, the agencies that were mentioned, but look out, work with private sector. First of all, the legal action must be tight and must be decisive and must be conclusive. That is sure, because we are dealing with warfare on another turf. Now, while that is going on, we should also look at opening up the data protection space, looking at loopholes, looking for leakages, and then blocking them. This is a serious thing. Now, warfare yesterday, you could put boots out there to fight. But right now, on the cyber space, you could do damage, colossal damage. So to protect our space known as Nigeria, electronically, physically, we need to look at exploring the legal angle and at the same time, regulatory angle. Thank you.
Finally, Prof, what's your call to Nigerians on how to protect themselves and also keep wary of some of these schemes?
Well, Nigerians have been inundated with the fact that they don't have to expose their private access data to third party. But in this case, there's nothing they can do. They have to, as in protection on their personal space, but they have to join other persons who are crying foul and who are calling for a redress and who are also calling for a reassessment of our infrastructure. They have to lend their voices, because this thing is serious. As it is right now, the government has got to put their act together and stop systemic failure and leakages. Thank you.
Stop systemic failure and leakages. Professor Chukwuemeka Ifego, Professor of Digital Economics at the University of Abuja. Thank you very much for your insights and perspectives on the News Hour. And moving on now, operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nasarawa State Command, have arrested over 20 persons for allegedly committed crimes, ranging from bandits, kidnappers, and cattle rustlers in the state. The State Public Relations Officer, PRO of NSCDC, Jerry Victor, disclosed this in an exclusive interview with Trust TV in Lafia, the state capital.
It was an unfortunate incident on the 17th of June 2024. At the early hours of that day, around 0300 hours, some hoodlums attacked the facility of our command, trying to break into the fence and gain entrance to the cell. Their motive was to release their gang members that they are in our own custody. As we speak, we have over 20 suspects.
And relations of a missing National Youth Service Corps member serving in Ondo State have appealed to the federal government to help rescue him. They called on the authorities involved to intensify efforts to locate their missing son. Trust TV's Jonathan Awaye completes the story.
Okeke Chukwuemeka Godwin, a graduate of computer science from the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Anambra State, was a National Youth Service Corps NYSC member serving at Akure South Local Government Area of Ondo State. The parent of Chukwuemeka said he was expected to have done his passing out parade on the 13th of June, but was last seen on 9th of May. They regretted that all their efforts to find him had not yielded any positive result, hence the resolve of the family to seek federal government assistance.
I beg government to make them please help me, make this my son no lost. Even if they know anywhere they can help me, let them help me, because the boy suffer too much. Let them help me. He starved in order to go to school because we didn't have anything, only famine. The boy determined to go to school. He said, anyhow I can help me, let me help him so that he will go to school because he wants to go to school. I said, okay, I will help you. We starve. I don't even wear clothes just to make sure that he go to school. So after the school, this is the result now.
So, and up till now, I haven't seen him. I haven't gotten any information about his whereabouts. Then, so now I came back to Ondo State for the same matter again. So I'm begging all the security agencies from Ondo State, Akure to be precise, to help me out on this matter. And I'm also begging government to also help me on this issue.
Residents of Akure South Local Government Area appeal to security operatives to assist in finding the missing corps member and reuniting him with his traumatized family.
Firstly, from my other neighbor, very close to me, that a copper here, so one copper here who had been living here, said he's not coming home. They've not seen him throughout. He didn't come home, and it's very unusual. I said, so I didn't worry. I said, I know. Probably he went to some of his cars. That's how coppers behave.
We went to that lodge.
But I know that Godwin is living here because every one of us, we are doing our own business. We mind our own. I pray to God that the God Almighty will help us search him and find it.
The Ondo State Police Command, through its Police Public Relations Officer, Fumilayo Odunlami, said they are intensifying efforts to trace the missing person and urge members of the public to volunteer any useful information on a missing National Youth Service Corps member in the state. Officials of NYSC in Ondo State declined to comment on the matter, saying the case has already been reported to relevant authorities. Jonathan Awanya, Trust TV News, Akure.
And the Ogun State Police Command has arrested 4 suspects over the alleged abduction and killing of a student of Alex Ekweme Federal University in Dufualike in Ikwo local government area of the state. Magnus Okeke, the spokesperson of the Ogun State Police Command, Joshua Ukando, confirmed to journalists that the command has launched investigation into the matter to unravel the reason behind the killing of the student. The university management, in a press statement released by the public relations officer Elom Ubochi, stated that the university management was working closely with the police and other security agencies to ensure that the student was rescued upon getting report of his abduction. However, all efforts made to rescue him alive failed, as the decomposing body of the victim was recovered under the bridge of Ako Stream at Nwakpu village along the Ikwo-Abakaliki road on Monday, 2 weeks of his disappearance. According to preliminary reports from security agencies, the alleged perpetrators of the heinous crime were youth from Ohankwu village. The PRO appealed to anyone with useful information that could aid in the investigation to come forward and assist the authorities. And residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have attributed the decline in morals among children and young adults to lack of proper upbringing. The residents, who are worried that the negative aspects of technology are taking a toll on the young ones, are urging parents to bring up their children in line with African values. Trust TV's Jimmy Adzande reports.
The residents are worried that tradition, which played a major role in the upbringing of kids, is gradually waning due to the upsurge of modernization.
The advent of technology has brought more harm than good. Go to some African homes, you see a child of 4 years having a phone, and it will be the parents who got the phone. What does a typical African child of 4 years need a phone for?
They said at the moment, most African societies are struggling with the declining values, a situation that calls for serious concern.
A child speaking the English language and not speaking the Tiv language is seen as an intelligent child, so to say, or is seen as a good kid amongst kids that can actually speak the mother tongue. So in that regard, to begin to see that globalization has been able to impact on that aspect of language.
Before now, Africans were solely practicing the culture of the natives, where an African man will rise up and do on his own practices, such as language, dressing, eating, and whatever.
They suggested some form of cultural reorientation as a way forward.
But if our parents can go back to grassroots and teach us all about our culture, then of course we will be able to pass it on to the next generation.
Accept globalization with its good effect and then avoid the negative sides of globalization, such as which would impact on the culture and then cause a decline in the culture of our people.
Schools should encourage curriculums that teaches culture in their classes, so that the children can also copy, in fact, inherit back the way of African culture.
The way of life hitherto unknown to Africans is suddenly taking the center stage. And this is worrisome, because the multiplicity of cultures is what makes countries like Nigeria unique in conception. Jimmy Adzande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And the high cost of consumable food in the country this period, especially the grain sourced from the north, is a significant concern. Citizens now blaming distributors for inflating food prices due to economic inflation. This report by Victoria Tokolo touched on reasons behind food inflation as put together from our studio.
Nigerians are blaming the food distributors for high cost of food commodities, especially grains, which are consumed by most citizens. To ascertain reasons behind the continuous hike in prices of foodstuff in Lagos State, Trust Television visited a Yobo garage where trailers offload goods, particularly grains, for distribution to other cities in the state. Here, distributors and trailer drivers said the high cost of fueling a trailer with diesel for just one trip is now above 200,000 naira, contributing significantly to increase in prices.
To get the beans down here, so all the grains, to get them down here, the cost of the transportation is high. Why? They are telling us because of the fuel hike and the diesel. So for them to load the market, formerly we are loading market from the goods from Meduguri at a rate of 1,550 naira. But now it's 3,000 plus, 3,750. So also to other places, mostly Niger, because we get our goods mostly from Niger State, different places there. And their market, the price of them bringing it, conveying it to this place is very, very high.
The ranges we are facing here is quite enormous. And ranging from the accumulative effect of insurgency, Boko Haram, banditry, which have denied us real access to get to the place where we are getting this goods. So we depend on our agent doing what we for us. So these are some of the challenges that we are having concerning the truck, because of the high cost of things. Like now, we are spending like 200,000 naira to buy gas coming here, which not supposed to be. Now, the road is too bad. If the road is okay, highest 2 days they will get to Lagos. But now sometimes they spend like 7 days, 6 days before coming. And the problem they are having on the roads is because of the high cost of food.
At Ilepo Garage and Market, the situation is the same. Sellers and buyers said government policies rather better the living conditions of Nigerians is only causing inflation.
Now, we are about 55,000 and we are paid transport 10,000 naira to reach Lagos State. When you reach Lagos State now, so we are paid like 65,000 naira.
As you know, we have many types of the beans. Now we get like a drum, and oloni, and white beans, and we have Saddam Faith. But these white beans now is the legend beans now for market. Now only that beans we are selling back 180,000 naira. But oloni, we are selling oloni now 270,000 naira per bag. That's what they say, bag of oloni. That is the oloni here per basic. Drum, we are selling drum 260,000 naira. Everything costs.
Who are they buy back 40,000? It's 200,000. Ah, the bag. I'm just at the bar, I'm just at the food. You have to buy the dollar. The amount, the price, the value. So we are buying like this village like before, per case, we are selling it 1,005, 1,002, 1,002, but it depends on the sound. But for now, it was 4,000 naira. Even that 4,000 naira we are selling it, we are not even gaining what we are gaining before.
Food distributors and trailer drivers are urging the federal government to tackle the issue of insecurity, fix the roads and reduce the price of diesel in the country.
Newspaper vendors have decried low patronage in Bauchi State, describing the situation as worrisome. They blame the low business on the current economic crisis caused by unfavorable government policies. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
Bauchi State newspaper vendors Sani Bello and Musa Amadou have spent at least 2 decades of their lives as sales representatives of various newspapers within the state capital. They share their thoughts on the impact of economic crisis and the proliferation of online news platforms on their business. Honestly, it's very clear now. People resort to online news than reading stories through newspaper hard copy. So people don't patronize a news stand like before, and coupled with the high cost of living, which aggravated the situation. By now, you will see people gathered arguing on issues, and they don't wait till end of the month to collect their salary. We see them on daily basis including those reading headlines only without buying the paper. I spent 25 years selling newspapers. I used to sell 100 copies before, but now even 25 copies is very difficult to sell, except on Fridays that sales pick up. But the life situation now is unbearable. Now with the advent of Android phones, online news, people get stories quicker than in newspaper hard copies. Android is killing our business, honestly, though we are still praying to have alternative means of survival. But newspapers is gradually fading. Joseph Bulus, a resident of Bauchi, is a regular reader of newspapers. He said vendors now finding it difficult to survive due to low patronage.
Because it goes faster and people are patronizing them more than the conventional medias. But the question is, one disadvantage with the online medium is, except those who have the Android phone, and you don't have the Android phone, there's no need and there's no way you can access the online media to read what they wrote there. But most people prefer them as if there is, or that is the only way to access way of getting information.
According to them, the advent of online media has drastically reduced the fortunes of newspapers. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And the Anti-Drugs Agency in Katsina have arrested 1,344 suspects, including women, in connection to drugs-related offences over the last 1 year in the state. The agency also made an unprecedented total seizure of 1,390.258 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs, out of which 1,161.831 kilograms is cannabis sativa. This was made known during the 2024 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, which coincided with the 1 year in office of the 17th NDLEA commander in Katsina. Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
The National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Katsina said it has seized 2,000 ampoules of pentazocine injections valued at over 9 million naira from a spare parts shop owner in Funtua. Similarly, men and officers of NDLEA have successfully dislodged drug cartel and busted a cocaine syndicate operating between Katsina and Duzuma.
I want to put it on record here that we have made a seizure of drugs at a laundry shop within Katsina Metropolis, which to all intents and purposes is an unconventional place where drug activity should take place. And we made a seizure of another drugs in Puntua at a spare parts shop.
The NDLEA boss in Katsina, Hassan Sani, confirmed that out of arrests made, the agency charged 112 suspects who have been tried and convicted, 120 pending cases and 107 new cases were filed at the Federal High Court, Katsina. He said 529 suspected drug users have been counseled and discharged, while about 136 have been admitted for counseling.
There is no gainsaying the fact that the rate of drug and other psychotropic substance abuse and trafficking among the general public in the state still remains alarming and become a serious area of concern for both the command and the state government.
The Katsina Anti-Drugs Agency called for unwavering support of residents in the new fight against drugs abuse and trafficking. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And in a significant move aimed at addressing youth unemployment and fostering economic development, the Jigawa State government has partnered with the federal government to train 300 participants from the state's 3 senatorial districts. This initiative aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and Governor Umar Namadi's 12-point agenda both of which emphasize job creation and youth empowerment. Here's more.
The special assistant to President Tinubu, leading the delegation, paid a courtesy call to Governor Umar Namadi at the government house following a successful roundtable discussion with the participants. This interaction underscored the collaborative efforts between state and federal authorities to provide practical skills and opportunities for the teeming youth population.
The training is coming at the right time, especially for us in Jigawa. The Jigawa State Executive Council have approved the establishment of passion centers in 3 of the senatorial districts. This passion hub is going to be state-of-art equipment, embroidery, and also sewing machines. Embroidery for so many other things, for women, for men, and everything. It's a complete hub. And there's going to be a lot of training. We'll train the youth. And you can come from anywhere. After you come and pay and sew your clothes and then take it.
During the roundtable, participants engaged in discussions on the fashion industry's potentials to drive economic growth and create sustainable jobs. The training program, which will span several months, is designed to equip the youths with skills in various aspects of fashion design, tailoring, and entrepreneurship. The special assistant to the president highlighted the importance of such collaborations in realizing the broader objectives of the Renewed Hope agenda.
We all know what the agenda of Mr. President is under the Renewed Hope agenda. Job creation is the critical part of that agenda, and for us, for every state that we go to, we tend to focus on the things that are the things that are dominant in that state. And for Jigawa State, we've seen that fashion and the leather industry is thriving here. So that's why we've decided to start this project under the fashion and the leather industry.
We are very glad that the federal government, under the office of the Vice President, have come up with an initiative to support fashion industry in Jigawa State. That's why they are here for roundtable, and we had the opportunity to have this roundtable in Duse, and it will carry on in the 2 senatorial districts remaining in Jigawa State. Part of what they are here to do, to have the opportunity to interact with stakeholders with a view to ascertain level of preparedness for our fashion designers in Jigawa State to embrace this kind of opportunity. And we're delighted that our youth have come out to benefit from this program.
It is a program that is intended to get all the fashion players in the fashion industry together, have a round table. As you had today, you can see what we have done. Discuss with them, see exactly their pain areas and which kind of training they will require and what kind of support they will be able to get. And as you heard it during the program, they mentioned that they are going to give them 3 months as well as 6 weeks training for them to, for those that are already in the industry and already been doing something like that, to be able to enhance their own skills and way of doing the fashion materials and equipment that they are pulling out of their places.
The participants, drawn from diverse backgrounds across Jigawa State, expressed their gratitude for the opportunity to gain new skills. Many see this as a chance to not only improve their personal livelihoods, but also to contribute to the economic development of their communities.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's now join Yusuf Akogo for Business News Update.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogo. Net foreign exchange inflow into Nigerian economy declined by 39% month-on-month to $2.37 billion in January from $3.91 billion in December 2023. The CBN disclosed it in its monthly economic report for January on Thursday. The report showed that this sharp decline in the net forex inflow was caused by 95.7% month-on-month increase in forex outflow from the economy. Aggregate foreign exchange inflow into the Nigerian economy decreased by 6.1% to $4.87 billion from $5.19 billion in the preceding month. The sharp decline in net forex inflow in January reflects the forex scarcity that triggered 60% depreciation of the naira in the official market during the month. The federal government deficit spending rose by 8% year-on-year to 1.07 trillion naira in January 2024 from naira 80 billion naira in January 2023. The deficit spending in January was also 18.6% higher than the amount provided for in the 2024 approved budget. The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) discloses in its monthly economic report for January 2024. The report, however, indicated month-on-month decline of 3.4% in February in the federal government deficit spending following decline in spending on foreign debt servicing. Similarly, federal government retained revenue declined by 1.7% from 495.8 billion naira in December 2023. Nigeria's equities market closed the week in red following profit taken by investors. Let's see how the market ended today. The top losing equities at the close of business today are Motivas. Motivas down 9.68% to close at 11 naira and 20 kobo per share. RT Brisquet down 7.46% to close at 62 kobo per share. Of course, Suno Assurance down 6.25% to close at 1 naira and 20 kobo per share. This has dragged down the market by 0.1%. The volume of trade is 617.222 million shares there, valued at 11.346 billion naira in a days of 9,273 did exchanges among investors this Friday, the last trading day for the week. Looking at the top trading equities there, leading that table there is FBNH there, continuing from where it stopped yesterday, 207.913 million shares traded. Jitco 58.553 million shares. Of course, Veritas Capital 57.594 million shares is also traded today. Of course, some equities also ended on the gaining side of the market there. Leading that table is Calgary Nigeria PLC, gaining 10% to close at 17 naira and 60 kobo per share. International Brewery up there 10% as well to close at 4 naira and 40 kobo per share. Of course, Thomas Watt also up there as well, 9.95% to close at 2 naira and 10 kobo per share. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Friday, the last trading day for the week on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Crude oil prices book another weekly gain boosted by Energy Information Administration latest inventory report. The EIA report draws across crude and fuel, suggesting the strong driving season some analysts expected may be unfolding soon. And the London market Brent crude sells for $85 per barrel. For the oil basket, price moves up to $84 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
And away from Nigeria, Tunisian President Kais Saied on Friday sacked the Minister of Religious Affairs after 49 Tunisians were reported to have died so far in this year's Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. The presidency said in a statement that the president decided to end the duties of Ibrahim Chaibi, the Minister of Religious Affairs. The statement posted on Facebook said without giving any further details. On Tuesday, the Tunisian Foreign Ministry reported the death of 35 Tunisian pilgrims, but the number has risen to 49 so far, according to Tunisian media. The ministry didn't specify whether the deaths were related to high temperatures, adding that most of the dead had traveled to Saudi Arabia with tourist visas and outside of the Saudi government's official pilgrimage program. Let's now join Emmanuel Fashimi for Sports News Update.
Nigeria's under-17 women's football team, the Flamingos, will know their group opponents for the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup on Saturday, June 22nd. According to the information on FIFA website, the draw will hold at the Fray Antin Montesinos Monument in Dominican Republic. The draw ceremony will be anchored by Avelino Quadra, a journalist, football commentator, and content creator. FIFA's director of tournaments, Jamin Yaza, will conduct the draw and will be assisted by Dominican athlete Tyas Herrera and Mexican player Tatiana Flores. The Flamingos are among the 16 teams that will participate in the competition. Coach Bankole Olokre's tutored guest came third at the last edition of the competition hosted by India. The 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup will be staged in Dominican Republic from 16th October to 3rd November 2024. African Soccer Ruling Body Confederation of African Football CAF has confirmed an official date for the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. The time for the competition has been a debate since the announcement of the maiden edition of the 32-team format expanded of the FIFA Club World Cup will be held in the summer of 2025. The Football Authority in Africa held an executive meeting on Friday and announced December 21st, 2025 to January 18th, 2026 as the date for the Bayana competition. Morocco remains the host of the tournament after Guinea was stripped of the rights due to poor facilities. Meanwhile, the women's competition, which was slated for this year, has now been postponed to hold from 5th to the 26th July 2025, also in Morocco. Bayana of South Africa is the current holder of the trophy, while Super Falcons of Nigeria remains the most successful country in the tournament with 9 titles. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim, on behalf of the crew, have a good night.